All right, hello guys. Today we're going to be going over a presentation. Ours is should the drinking age be lowered, remain the same, or even be raised? And we're going to be discussing the points on how the drinking age should be raised to 25, kept at 21, or even brought down to 18. All right, next slide. So the first slide we have here is why this debate matters for young adults. So most of us in college, we know how it is and how it feels to be an adult in almost every part of life except drinking alcohol. At 18, the law says you're responsible enough to vote, sign a lease, serve on a jury, and even enlist in the military, but not responsible enough to legally have a drink. That contradiction is something every young adult notices. Right, the next slide we have here is why this debate pretty much matters and again goes over those same points. So, every day in the US, around 37 people die in drunk driving crashes, and many of those cases involve young adults. As students, the issue impacts us directly, not just in terms of policy, but in daily life. College social life revolves around alcohol. Drinking happens whether it's legal or not, and these laws affect safety, campus culture, and decisions in emergencies. With nearly 50% of Rutgers students already being over 21, alcohol isn't just accessible, it's encouraged in many social settings. So, why this topic matters to Rutgers students. As Rutgers students, we live in the center of a campus environment where alcohol is a regular part of social life. Tailgates, parties, events, and gatherings are all places where alcohol is all over the place. Because of that, the drinking age shapes our safety, our behavior, and the situations we encounter. To understand the real impact, we looked at CDC crash data, peer-reviewed research on brain development, and international studies comparing countries with different drinking ages. So going on to our thesis and overview. Our thesis is while both sides provide valid safety concerns, the evidence suggests the US should lower the drinking age, but do so with stronger education and supervision because this reduces the hidden binge drinking and creates a safer, more honest drinking habits for these young adults. We will cover the arguments supporting the age of 21, evidence showing while lowering the age may improve safety, the social and behavioral impacts of policy, and finally, what our stance really is.
All right. So when we think about adulthood, the law already treats 18-year-olds as full adults. You can vote, sign contracts, live on your own, and serve your country. Stephen and Stillmore point out that when different laws define adulthood differently, it creates confusion and leads to inconsistent behavior. So if 18-year-olds carry every other adult responsibility, lowering the drinking age simply makes alcohol policy consistent with everything else. And right now, underage drinking happens mostly in hidden underground places like frat basements, dorm rooms, and house parties. And these are exactly the environments where dangerous binge drinking forms, because people drink quickly to avoid getting caught. And lowering the drinking age shifts drinking into a regulated space like bars and restaurants, where staff are trained to intervene. It becomes a harm reduction strategy rather than a punishment-based one. And in many European countries, young adults are introduced to alcohol earlier in supervised normal environments, and like family dinners, restaurants. And Wagner research shows that these models reduce binge drinking because alcohol isn't treated as forbidden. And by lowering the drinking age, the US could move towards a healthier drinking culture that emphasizes supervision and moderation rather than secrecy. And now that we've covered fairness and cultural comparisons, JJ will explain to what the research says about youth and the risk.
Research consistently shows that drinking age laws don't determine whether young people drink; they determine how they drink. Stefan and Stillman found that stricter age limits uh, uh, push drinking into dangerous, unregulated spaces. Lowering the age will clear guidelines, gives young people safer ways to drink, and reduce hidden binge drinking. There's also stress reactive drinking. Dawson, Grant, and Lee found that people's first exposed to alcohol in chaotic or secretive environments are more likely to develop stress reactive drinking habits. So that environment matters more than the age. Introducing alcohol earlier, but in safer, supervised settings, may reduce long term unhealthy drinking problems. and increasing openness and calling for help. One of the biggest things we see now is with the current drinking age is students often hesitate to call for help during emergencies because they fear to get in trouble. Lowering the age reduces that fear, encourages honesty, and increases the likelihood that students report dangerous situations quickly. It shifts drinking into public, supervised environments rather than hiding it. Lowering the drinking age doesn't ignore the real concerns behind the age 21 law. David will now explain the strongest counterarguments and how they could still fit into a lower age model.
In a brain development study, they found that the brain continues to develop until the age of 25, and heavy drinking before can cause harm to memory and cognitive functions. These concerns are valid but shouldn't be dismissed. Uh, but the issue is heavy drinking, not just simple drinking. A supervised drinking culture reduces binge drinking behavior, which is what actually causes harm. Next slide. The CDC also found that ages, when the drinking age was raised to 21, fatal crashes were reduced significantly. Supporters found that the current law used has a strong argument, but lowering the drinking age doesn't mean weakening DUI enforcement. Countries with lower drinking ages actually have stricter DUI laws. That's how they maintain safety while allowing drinking at a younger age. Next slide. The CDC also reports that the age 21 law reduces economic costs associated with alcohol-related injuries, but behind binge drinking, this creates its own financial burden, ER visits, campus emergency law enforcement strain. If lowering the reduces hidden risk drinking, it could actually lower these economic costs over time.
So, addressing concerns while lowering the age, when we take the strongest arguments for keeping the drinking age at 21, none of them become impossible to manage if the age is lowered, as long as it's paired with strong DUI enforcement, alcohol education programs, supervised drinking environments. We can still protect young adults while making the policy more realistic and consistent with other adult rights. Um, so, to summarize, keeping the age at 21 helps protect the brain development and reduce crash deaths, but lowering the age reduces secretive binge drinking and brings drinking into safer places. Countries with lower drinking ages often have healthier drinking cultures. Behavior improves when alcohol is introduced responsibly and not treated as prohibited. Reinforcing the thesis, our thesis argued that lowering the drinking age combined with strong safeguards creates a safer, more honest, and more consistent drinking culture for young adults. After evaluating the research, it's clear that this approach addresses more underlying issues than simply keeping the law at 21. In the end, alcohol is used as shaped as much as by its culture. When we treat young adults like they can't be trusted, they drink in secret. When we treat them like adults, they use it with guidance, supervision, and realistic expectations. They're far more likely to drink responsibly. Lowering the drinking age isn't promoting drinking. It's about creating a system that actually keeps people safe.